Hey everyone, ready to dive into something that might just flip the script on how we think about success. We're talking Robert Kiyosaki's Why A, students work for C students, and B students work for the government.
Bold title, right. And Kiyosaki, he doesn't hold back. Be ready to rethink some stuff you probably thought was just, like, common sense.
Fasten your seatbelts, listeners. So right off the bat, Kiyosaki jumps into this thing he calls an education crisis.
Mm-hmm.
He's not saying school's worthless, not at all.
Yeah.
But he says there's this huge GE disconnect between what you learn in school and what you actually need to build wealth.
It's like school gives you the map, but it might be the wrong map, you know?
Totally. Like, what if the path you're being prepped for isn't actually the one that gets you where you want to go?
And he gives this really interesting example. He talked about the Obama-Romney election back in 2012.
Okay, both super educated guys.
Exactly. Both highly educated, but Romney, he paid way lower taxes, caused a huge stir, right?
Right.
Kiyosaki's point is they were playing by different financial rules, different quadrants, he calls them.
So it's not just about how much you earn, it's about how you earn it, the system you're playing in.
Exactly. And this ties into his whole thing about social programs. Know that saying, give a man a fish?
He eats for a day, teach a man to fish.
He eats for a lifetime.
Yeah, but Kiyosaki's like, teach a man about money.
Teach him to own the pond?
Right.
Yeah.
He's saying financial literacy, that's the real game changer, not just handouts. It's about empowerment, not dependence, right?
Right.
Giving people the knowledge and tools to build their own future. That's a pretty radical idea.
Totally. Challenges the way things are usually done. And this leads into his next big point. He's saying, your generation, you're facing some serious economic challenges, like big, scary ones.
Okay, so not exactly light conversation here.
Yes.
He's talking about Social Security maybe going bankrupt, this massive national debt, even though the Great Depression.
He's not trying to freak you out, though.
Wow.
He's saying, you got to understand these things. It's part of financial education.
It's like you wouldn't drive across the country without a GPS. You got to know the landscape, right?
Exactly. He's handing you the map with all the potential roadblocks, the detours.
Yes.
He wants you to be prepared.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got this education crisis, these economic gorillas on the horizon. What's next?
This is where he drops his big idea, the cash flow quadrant. He says there are 4 main ways people make money, and it's not about which one is better, it's about understanding the game.
Okay, the quadrants. I've heard of these. Break it down for us.
So you got your E, S, B, and I.
All right, those are some mysterious letters. What do they stand for?
So E is for employee, S is self-employed or specialist, like doctors, lawyers, that kind of thing. Then you got your B for business owner.
Okay, that gets sense so far.
And finally, I for investor. And Kiyosaki, he's not saying one is better than the other. It's not about judging careers.
Right, it's about understanding the system.
Exactly. But he does say employees and the self-employed, they often end up paying the most in taxes, while the business owners and investors, they have more control. More control over their income, and because of that, more control over their taxes.
So it's not just about working hard, it's about understanding where you fit in. You could be killing it at your job, but if you don't get the rules of the game, you might be working harder than you have to.
100%. And that's key here. Kiyosaki wants you to be aware of all the different ways to make money, to build wealth. So you can choose, choose a path that fits what you want.
More options, more freedom. Love it.
And this is where we start challenging some of those deep down money beliefs we all have. Time to, shatter some assumptions.
Shattering assumptions. Okay, I'm into it.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do that? Like, how do we get rid of those money beliefs that might be holding us back?
Kiyosaki would say, start with awareness. He uses this analogy. He's like, our beliefs about money, they're like a context, like a pair of glasses we're wearing. And those glasses, they color how we see everything.
So, if you've always been told debt is bad, you're looking at the world through these debt-colored glasses. You might miss opportunities because you're afraid of something that could actually be helpful.
Exactly. Someone else they might have on their debt is a tool, glasses. They see that same situation totally different. Maybe they see a chance to use that debt to their advantage.
It's like those optical illusions. Same picture, but it looks totally different depending on how you see it. Our money mindset, it's doing that all the time.
All the time. And that's why he talks about different types of income. He's like, it's not just about getting a job, trading your time for money. He breaks it down into 3 categories: ordinary income, portfolio income, and passive income.
Okay, hit me with it. Tell me how to upgrade my income stream.
All right, so ordinary income, that's your typical paycheck, your 9 to 5. and that's usually taxed the most.
Makes sense.
Then you got portfolio income. That's from investments like stocks, bonds, that sort of thing, usually taxed differently, often more favorably.
So you're making money even when you're not working. I like it.
Right. And then there's passive income. This is the dream. This is money that comes in without you actively working for it.
Okay, now we're talking. Give me some examples.
Rental income from property, royalties from a book you wrote, things like that.
So Kiyosaki wants us to understand these different types of income so we can start building wealth, not just relying on those paychecks.
Exactly. Multiple streams of income, that's where it's at. Like having a safety net, but also a launch pad.
I like the way you think. It's like he's really challenging this idea that success is a straight line.
Totally. It's a choose-your-own-adventure story.
Yeah.
And you have way more control than you might think.
Speaking of control, can we talk about those A students for a second? Kiyosaki, he makes a pretty bold claim about them.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
He says A students, they often end up working for the C students.
Whoa, hold up. Isn't that the opposite of how it's supposed to work? Aren't A students, like, destined to be the CEOs, the big shots?
You'd think, right.
Mm-hmm.
But Kiyosaki is saying A students, they're amazing at working in the system, following instruction,
Yes.
getting those gold stars.
So they're playing the game by the rules, but it's still someone else's game. Exactly. While the C students, the ones who maybe didn't ace every test, who weren't afraid to bend the rules a little, they might be the ones building the businesses, calling the shots.
Never thought of it like that. It's not about being smarter, it's a different way of thinking.
Right. Like, the A student might be an amazing employee, but the C student, they might be the one who hires them.
Mind blown.
And Kiyosaki says a lot of it comes back to that context we were talking about, those ingrained beliefs. C students, they're often more okay with risk. They challenge assumptions, think outside the box.
They're not afraid to color outside the lines.
Exactly. And that fearlessness, that willingness to experiment, that can be huge when it comes to building wealth.
It's like they're not just learning the rules, they're trying to rewrite the whole rule book.
Totally. And you know what else Kiyosaki talks about? The power of words. He's like, the language we use around money, it can either limit us or set us free.
What we say to ourselves actually matters.
Big time. He gives this example. How often do you say, I can't afford that?
Oh, all the time.
Right. But those words, even if we don't realize it, they reinforce this idea of scarcity. Like, there's not enough to go around.
It's like we're trapping ourselves with our own words.
Totally. But what if we change the script? Kiyosaki's like, instead of saying, I can't afford that, what if we said, how can I afford that?
Oh. Okay, that's different. It's like instead of closing the door, you're opening up all these possibilities.
Exactly. You go from scarcity to abundance. It's not about spending like crazy. It's about being open to solutions, you know, seeing opportunities you might have missed before.
So how do we actually do this? Does Kiyosaki give us like practical tips to rewire our brains?
He's a big fan of his Cashflow game.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. It's a board game, right? Teaches you about money, investing.
It's like a financial simulation. You practice making decisions, learn about different ways to invest, and you see the impact of your choices. But it's fun.
Way more fun than my econ class, that's for sure.
Right. He also says it's super important to understand your financial statement. Think of it like your financial report card.
Okay, that part sounds kind of scary, not gonna lie.
I get it. But it's actually empowering. Like, once you really see your financial situation, the good, the bad, you can make better decisions. Take control, you know?
Instead of just letting things happen to you.
Exactly. And this is where Kiyosaki talks about this whole be the Fed idea.
Be the Fed, wait, like the Federal Reserve?
He's not saying you should go work for them, haha. It's more about understanding how the system works and then using that knowledge to create your own financial independence. Think of it like this. The Fed, they can print money, right?
Right, they control all that.
So Kiyosaki's saying you can create your own printing press in a way. You build businesses, you invest the right way, and you've got these passive income streams working for you even when you're asleep.
Okay, that's a powerful image. So be the Fed. It's about taking charge of your money, your life.
100%. It's about financial literacy, understanding the tools, the strategies, and then building that life of abundance for yourself and for others.
Because for Kiyosaki, it's not just about stacking up cash. It's about making a difference.
Exactly. Money's a tool, and a powerful one. It's about using that tool to do good, to support things you believe in, to build a better future for everyone.
I love that. So for anyone listening who's maybe feeling a little overwhelmed right now, what's the one thing you want them to take away from this deep dive into why A students work for C students?
That your financial future, it's yours to create. Doesn't matter where you started, what your bank account looks like right now. You can learn, you can grow, you can build the financial life you want.
So good. It's all about possibility. Listeners, go out there, get curious about money, question everything, and build the financial future you deserve.
And never stop learning. Things change fast in the financial world. Stay curious, stay informed, and never be afraid to ask questions.
That's a wrap on this deep dive. Thanks for exploring with us, everyone. Remember, your financial journey, it starts right now.